Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Grit Factor podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Jake Morrell. I'm with my brother.
Brian Morrell. What's up, everybody?
We'd like to welcome you guys back, and first of all, thank you for listening. We've got some interesting topics to go over today, but first, we're going to call in our guest today. Obviously, we're practicing proper social distancing guidelines.
This is going to be our first episode where we call someone in.
Yeah, this is our first call.
Goes.
We're excited, and we are going to call in one of my best friends, Will Kristo. He's a pretty gritty guy, and he's definitely got some stuff to share. So let's make that call, Brian.
All right.
It's ringing, everyone.
Come on, Will. Of course, our friend Will is not picking up the call.
He's probably fixing his hair for a podcast.
We just talked to him 3 minutes ago. Yeah. Literally 3 minutes ago. He's unavailable.
FaceTime unavailable.
All right. Let's give him another call. Will, come on, man.
Hello.
Late to the party. There he is.
Sorry.
All right. Well, Will, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good on this fine day. It was snowing this morning, but other than that, pretty good.
Yeah, Chicago weather. What are you gonna do? I looked out the window and saw it, almost white out snow, and then 5 minutes later it was sunny and all the snow had melted. So
yeah, and then 20 minutes after that it was snowing again. Today was awful.
And then after that it was snowing. Well, it was sunny, so the snow was just melting when it hit the ground. Gotta love living here.
Hey, but yeah, you know what? That is gritty. That's some gritty Chicago weather right there. You can't
gritty weather. Yeah.
That is gritty Chicago weather. Anyway, everybody, this is our dear friend Will Kristo, and the first topic I'm going to bring up today was actually brought up by one of our family members, Matt Hogan, who will be on here at some point, and it was the heel of the bread loaf. Now, eating it or just in general, is it gritty, boys? What do you think?
I'm going to go with, yes, it's gritty. A lot of people, they don't like the crust of the bread whatsoever. I've seen, a lot of little kids, their moms cut off the crust of the bread.
Oh, horribly ungritty.
But if you're eating the heel, you're just making use of all your resources. You don't care that, the crust might have a little different taste than the good white bread in the middle, but, it's definitely gritty.
Yeah, that's probably as gritty as it gets. The other day I was actually sitting in the kitchen and I noticed my mom making a sandwich with both ends of the heels of bread, and I was kind of like, Mom, what are you doing? And she said, no one ever eats them and I don't want to waste the bread, so I eat them all the time. And I was like, wow, I just gained mad respect for you, Mom. Mad respect.
Mad respect. Yeah, I think
she takes one for the team. She doesn't want to waste the bread. And I'm like, wow, I was just sitting there thinking, I'm like, I got one gritty mom. Shout out to my mom.
Yeah.
Shout out to Will's mom.
Shout out to Mrs. Christo. Yeah, I agree. I think it's gritty because, no one wants to eat that. And exactly how Mrs. Christo put it, you can't waste it. So I think that's pretty gritty because, honestly, it is disgusting. In my opinion, it is gross. You bite into it, it's all sticking to the top of your mouth. You're smacking on it with the peanut butter or whatever. You can't get it off your tongue. But, yeah, I think it's pretty gritty. So with that said, we'll move into our next topic, which is home gyms. In general, what do you boys think? Gritty or not gritty?
I'm going to go off and say, if you're, during this quarantine, you found a way to either get a home gym or you already had one, you're pretty dedicated to getting big. So I'm going to go off and say that's gritty. But you're even more gritty if you found a different way to work out, if you don't have, the necessary equipment and you're out there, doing curls with milk jugs and stuff. But having a home gym in general is pretty gritty move.
Yeah, usually when I think of gyms in general, home gym or not, I just think gyms are pretty gritty as they are. But especially during times like these, I've seen like videos on Instagram of like dads making like gyms like out of like the woods. I don't know if you guys saw that video. This guy's like curling like tree trunks and stuff. It was about as gritty as it gets. So
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I think having a home gym is gritty, being able to, lift and get yourself stronger during this quarantine. But I gotta agree with Brian. I think it's even more gritty if you don't and you're finding ways to work out because I think that's pretty solid. Now that actually brings us into our next topic, which is also about lifting, gritty lifts. And I'm actually gonna start off here and just say that of like major well-known lifts, I'm gonna go with power cleans as one of the grittiest lifts. Like no one wants to do them, they're hard. It sucks. It's hard to get the form down when you first start doing it. But as an athlete, it helps a lot. So I think that's one of the things too is, when people stop playing sports, they're never doing power cleans and stuff like that. So I think power cleans are one of the grittiest lifts. All lifting is it has some degree of grit to it, right? But I feel like things like bench are more mainstream. Like everyone wants to get on the bench and start lifting, but no one wants to pick up the barbell and hit some cleans. So I'm just gonna go right ahead and say cleans are the grittiest lift of the major lifts.
What do you think, Will?
I think any leg lift in general for me at least is probably is I mean obviously grittier than all the other lifts. I only say that because people hate leg day and it's so much easier just to like just do upper body, but like you need legs, especially if you're an athlete. You need legs if you want to be athletic. Like if you want to have success, like in whatever sport you are, like I mean you need to have strong legs. I think any leg lift, especially power cleans, just because as Jake said, the form is hard. They're pretty annoying at first. You can get really pissed off doing them, and they're dangerous too. I
Yeah.
feel like they're probably one of the more dangerous lifts you can do, which in of itself makes it more gritty. Just because there's no, you're not usually like power cleaning like there's no rack involved. Like there's not a lot of safety. You're kind of like it's like free weights kind of thing. So yeah, I for sure agree with Jake. Um, I think any leg lift, especially power cleans, is probably
Yeah, I definitely agree, and
do.
I hate power cleans, but
I do too. I mean, I do them because you got to, but
yeah, they take a lot of skill, and every time you do them, they're just a grind. You just got to grind through.
yeah, I think that's part of it too. Like, not the grind. That's obviously, but the skill part of it. Like, a lot of these big lifts, like bench, does not really require that much skill. Like, you just kind of pick up the bar and start benching. If you don't know how to bench, then you've never lifted in your life. But I think that it takes some degree of skill, and you have to master it before you can start really pushing weight. I think that's pretty gritty.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So we're gonna go into our next topic, and I'm gonna tell a story here. It's not really a story. It's kind of it's an every year thing. So we have 3 dogs, 3 labs, big dogs, pretty big dogs, and like I'd say 5 years ago maybe we got a fence in our backyard when we got because we have all these dogs, so we don't want them to run away, so we can just let them out, whenever we want. But the worst is, I call it the post-winter apocalyptic poop scoop. It's when after the winter, when, it snowed and they go out there, they do their business, but, I'm not going to go out there in the winter, and no one in the family is going to go out there in the winter and scoop the poop. But once all the snow melts and it clears away, and you got, the mushy, muddy grass, then it's just covered, literally
wasteland.
covered in dog poop.
Wasteland.
Yes, a wasteland. So this is just me getting in there with my shovel and my bucket with a garbage bag liner and just scooping every dog turd. I've never counted it, but I'd be willing to bet that it's upwards of 300 different piles of poop. I'm not going to lie.
Wow. That's impressive.
That's 3 dogs once a day for like 100 days. So,
yeah, exactly.
So I could see that. And that's minimum because sometimes they, eat something peculiar and they're 2, 3 a day poops.
Dude, today, oh my God, today, so my mom, I'm like working on my homework, and my mom like calls me down. She's like, Brian, like someone come here. And so I'm like, all right, I'll just go down and see what's going on. She's like, look at your dog, Buddy. And like, Buddy's our youngest dog. Will, you know Buddy.
Yeah, I love Buddy.
Dude.
He's not the brightest.
He has,
What a dog.
his head, there's a brown thing on it. And my mom's like, please tell me that's not poop. But lo and behold, Will, I brought him in. Yes, it was a nugget and a little smear on the top of his head. How could this happen, Will, you ask?
Top of his head.
And I've seen it happen before.
Oh, it's disgusting.
One of our other dogs will sit down or like squat down and take a poo, and he will eat it right out of their butt, Will. Directly out of it. It is disgusting. I hope no one ever has to see that sight. But I can only guess that he was going in for the kill on, one of the other dog's poops, and it just got away from them and just splattered up on his head. It was disgusting. Absolutely
Dog poop is
disgusting.
not appetizing.
This is officially the most disgusting episode of our podcast so far. Hopefully
I'm sorry, I just had to tell that story.
I mean, yeah, no, that's
It was
necessary.
awful.
The people need to hear that, but that's disgusting. That's not gritty. No, that is gross. So let's put that behind us and get into our next topic. This is kind of an interesting one. Jump ropes, boys. What do you think? I think this is situational, but I will go last. Will, you want to start us off?
Okay, so personally, recently during these quarantine times, I've had to find a little bit more body workouts, I guess. Being an athlete, especially since I needed to work on my footwork this off season. So I texted a coach of mine, and he recommended jump ropes. Now, I've never been very good at jump ropes, and up until probably like a month ago, I've always associated jump ropes with little girls on a playground or boxers, and I never really realized I didn't think jump ropes could really impact you that much. But I mean, recently, like after like doing jump ropes and like kind of doing like this little circuit every single day, I'm starting to think it's like grittier and grittier. I mean, for me at least, like now when I see jump ropes, I picture like boxers and like fighters and like footwork and all this other stuff. I don't know. It just kind of fills me with a little bit of sense of pride. It's pretty gritty. I mean, especially once you like start doing all the fancy stuff, it's kind of fun.
No, I'm going to agree with you on this one, Will. I definitely think that jump roping is gritty. It's definitely gritty. I mean,
it's hard too.
It's something that, maybe like little girls will be doing on the playground, let them do their thing.
A little double dutch.
Mm-hmm. But then you get older and, you're warming up for a wrestling match or a fight for boxing and you're just in there with your hood on and your headphones in and you are just going
exactly.
You're doing like the double and the cross and you're like, you look like a beast. Like, but what's not gritty is when like a boxer or whoever's doing the jump rope pre-match is like doing it to show off, like it's better if they're like in the back corner behind the bleachers, like they're just back there by themselves, like just doing their thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with both of you, but to an extent, I think one thing you got to say is like, you could see it being gritty. Obviously, what you guys are saying, like with wrestlers and boxers, when I'm at a national tournament, I walk by like a sauna room and I see, some guy with a sweatshirt on, tied so you can't even see his face, and he's got a coat on and sweatpants on, and he's jump roping in the sauna to lose weight. That's pretty gritty. And like using it to warm up is gritty, but like I said, Will, it's hard to think about jump rope and not associate it with like little girls at the park and like what do they know? They're little girls, they're just doing double dutch, having fun. So that part of jump roping is not gritty. I think it's a situational one for me.
I agree. All right. So next we're gonna have a little debate here. What do you guys think the grittiest cereal is?
Personally, I think it's Wheaties. I just
definitely will.
And you get like the pro athletes and like all these icons just on the boxes, and it's just such a gritty cereal. Just the name Wheaties, it implies like nothing but wheat. Like, how much more gritty can you get with cereal? It's not like Lucky Charms, where it's like flavored little marshmallows. It's just wheat.
Yeah, let me bring another one up here, Will. Let me present this to you. Think about this. Rice Chex. Rice Chex
are just nasty, dude. Corn Flakes are
Dude,
dirty.
Wheaties don't taste that great either.
Wheaties aren't bad though. Like I can eat Wheaties. Like I think what measures the grit of a cereal is just like Corn Flakes, right? It's literally just corn. Like you have to put strawberries and sugar on it for it to even be semi good.
When I think grit, I think grain. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that. Obviously, most cereals are not because they're millions of grams of sugar and super sweet. And,
true.
All colorful.
I heard a compelling argument though that Frosted Flakes are a bottom half cereal, and what this guy, I think it was on Barstool, he was talking. He was like, Frosted Flakes are a bottom half cereal. They perform in the lower part of the bowl. You're taking the first bite, you're like, oh, these are too crunchy. They suck. But when you get to the bottom half,
oh yeah, he's
that's
absolutely
a
right.
Oh, I disagree. I think I love the crunch personally. I mean, I don't know how you wouldn't like. I don't like soggy cereal. Like I like my cereal fresh. I don't really agree with that.
Life cereal. What do you boys think? That's kind of the same as Frosted
gritty.
Flakes.
That's pretty gritty.
Yeah, crunchy.
Pretty
I think it's pretty gritty. Although I don't know. When I was a kid, I enjoyed pounding a bowl of Cinnamon Life on a Saturday morning. But
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's definitely a spectrum for grit level
For sure.
with cereals, which will not bring me into my next topic because it's completely different. But this is one Will actually requested that we talk about, probably because of some recent events with e-learning. But we wanted to talk about English class. Now, English obviously a very necessary education aspect.
Of course.
You should know how to read and analyze and write for sure. But sometimes English classes I think can get out of hand per se
Yes.
with their low grit factor. So Will, if you'd like to weigh in on that, you have the
Yeah,
floor.
personally, I've just you guys were talking about potential topics for today, and immediately I just finished writing like a little timed essay with all the e-learning stuff that's going on. Pretty annoying, but just English class in general. I've just never had like a really like a good experience in an English class personally. And I don't know if it was the people, I don't know if it was the teachers, but like, let me start off by saying this, right? I walk into my English class, first day of the school year, my junior year, right?
Yeah.
I look in the classroom, I'm trying to look, who am I going to sit next to? Like, who are like my guys, you know what I'm saying? I look around, there's only 3 other guys in the whole class. There's about 30 kids and only 4 boys. And I'm thinking, wow, and it's like sometimes you get these like prompts for essays and stuff, and you get all these sources and you have to read them. And, sometimes the prompts are about gender roles. And, I'm not a misogynist or anything, like, don't get me wrong. Like, like women's rights, like, of course they're important. I respect women, obviously. But, when you read sources that are, a lot of them are really one-sided, talking about how bad men are and all this other stuff, it makes you feel a little bit attacked. It's just, it's just not a gritty experience. It's just really, really one-sided, I feel like. I don't know.
I see what you mean, Will, here. And what English class are you in?
AP Lang.
AP Lang, yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like that just kind of goes into, though, like, those gender roles. Like, yeah. I feel like a lot more girls, like, I took AP Lang and then, like, AP Lit, and I feel like it definitely was. I was definitely one of the few guys in both of those classes, and I feel like, yeah, like, sometimes it sucks to, like, kind of, like, feel like you're just getting, like, crapped on the whole time by, like, all these girls, but, like, in the end, like, it's just an English class, you know what I mean? But I know how you feel.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Another thing about English class, however, I do think what's gritty, however, is writing essays.
I was just going to say that.
I think writing essays are very gritty. Like, I mean, it's just such a grind, and it's so, no one wants to do it, it's just such a pain. But, like, writing essays, like, writing is gritty, I feel like. I never really thought reading was that gritty. Maybe just because I'm not that much of a reader, I don't really have that much time for reading. No offense to readers out there. Shout out my readers out there. Actually, I do respect the reading grind, but I just always thought writing was just a lot more gritty, especially like in class essays, that type of stuff. Like,
I agree.
That's hard.
I agree. When you're just when it
Your
takes you a
hands are
minute to
sweating.
think. Yeah, it takes you a
Oh,
minute
your
to
hands
think, and then
cramping too.
you're
Oh,
just
that
writing
sucks.
furiously. Your hand is hurting. Bell rings. The teacher's like turn them in. You're trying to get those last few sentences down. I agree. I think writing's pretty gritty. But yeah, I could see where you're coming from with the conversations you have, because I like my P line class a lot, but we talk about these current issues sometimes, not generals, like we don't really talk about that at all, but these current issues facing our country and our world, and a lot of these kids just don't have any sense of realism,
I agree
right?
with that.
Like they all want to see climate change be stopped and help all these humanitarian crises all over the world. And then I'm like, okay, who's ready to pay more taxes? And
Yeah.
no one's very real in that class. So I feel like that kind of takes away from the grit factor, because I feel like they maybe don't understand fully sometimes, which kind of makes me sound like an a-hole, but it does
No,
happen.
I
So
agree with that. I think I think a lot of those current issues that we discuss in English class, um, people kind of take it as if it's like a black and white issue. You know what I mean? But like in reality, it's gray. Like they only see like one perspective. Like the problem with like English class, I think sometimes is like people fail to like
see another
really
side.
like yeah, they feel that like they're really
Yeah.
close minded. I feel like people are really close minded in English class sometimes. And I mean that's kind of a problem, especially when it comes to like debates and that type of stuff. It's a little frustrating sometimes, but
Yeah, I think so.
yeah.
Um, well, we are going to finish with one last shorter topic. This one should be pretty obvious. I guess maybe not to this dude sitting to the left of me.
Dude,
But
if you're gonna try and roast me for
dude,
this,
I'm gonna roast you. I'm going to roast you. Hydro flasks, gritty or not? The answer should be not. I'm actually looking
I
at
agree.
his little hydro flask.
Well, no, I want to hear what Will has to
Which
say.
is actually a new one, because his last one that was all stickered up in yellow and fun was what'd you do
Hey,
to that?
stickers are cool.
It
I like
broke.
stickers.
How did you break a hydro flask?
I threw it into my room and it broke.
Wow. Very careful. I'm just going to go with no on grit factor for hydro flasks, because, I feel like it's a very Visco-ish thing. Visco girl, that whole meme, whatever, kind of last summer. I think it's very Visco girl, and I think that's kind of annoying sometimes, and just not gritty overall, really, at all. So I'm just gonna put that one out there right now.
Let me give
Also
you my
extremely
take.
expensive.
Let me give you my
Shake from
take
the
here.
grill.
Let me give you my
You get
take
a
here.
thermos for half the price and have the same quality.
Yes, thermoses definitely grittier than hydro flasks. But
For
picture
sure.
me, right? I'm
Hiking?
little fourth class Brian Morrell. Little Brian Morrell, all I have is a crappy plastic Nalgene.
You're like,
And I have to walk so far to go to the water fountain because I'm like all the way in the corner. And then my parents come or whatever, and like they bring me my hydro flask. I'm like, ooh, hydro flask. Dude, the water taste difference between a plastic Nalgene and a metal hydro flask it's day and night. Like, it is delicious when you drink the cold water out of the cold metal and you just go slurp it up. You know what I'm talking about?
This has officially been the most disgusting episode
You know,
of this podcast
I never really
ever.
thought about it like that. For me personally, it's actually kind of interesting. Because my perspective is honestly, it's changed a lot. Because initially, before all like the Visco like phenomenon, all that stuff kind of happened. All the memes, they weren't really funny. All that stuff kind of happened. I honestly thought that hydro flasks were like pretty gritty, and that's only because I associate it with like hiking and like outdoor water bottles. Like a really durable like metal water bottle. I just kind of associated with like hiking stuff, which honestly I think is a very gritty activity to do. Like outdoors type camping stuff. But then the Visco stuff like struck. All the little girls go. That just pisses me off.
Yeah, okay,
Really
so we can
annoying.
agree that they
Very
ruined
unannoying.
it. They ruined
And
it.
that just ruined it for me. Every single time I see a hydro flask now, I'm just disappointed. So yeah, and it's kind of sad in my opinion. It's a little disappointing that I used to think that they were gritty and now they're just kind of ruined for me. But yeah, that's my take.
And also, you talk about price. right?
Yeah, definitely.
I just got to bring that up again. I think they're too expensive, and I think you could get a water bottle from another company that's mostly the same quality for $35 less.
True.
So
True.
But how expensive are they?
It's like $30 for a 32 ouncer.
Oh, okay. For a water bottle, that's.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know how much water bottles go
Bro,
for.
like $30 for a water bottle. Come on.
Yeah.
Hey man, it's quality. I paid for the quality, man.
Paid for the.
And I don't blame you.
I'm kidding. All
Maybe
right,
put a sticker over the Hydro Flask logo and you'll be good.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do that.
Yeah, put a little Grit Factor sticker, which will be coming out soon. Anyway,
Ooh.
Oh, sick.
that's all we have for you guys today. Again, thank you for listening.
Will,
Again,
thanks for calling in, buddy.
It's been an honor.
our
It
guest,
really
Will
has.
Kristo, my
An
co-host, Brian Morello. Thank you, everybody. Remember to like this and subscribe. Follow us on SoundCloud. Follow us on Instagram at Anything But Magazine. All that kind of stuff. We actually have a magazine out that you can buy and read or download. You can visit our website too. Everything will be included in the description. Thank you guys and have a wonderful night.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.